My name is Caroline, and today I'm going to be giving you my best life hacks for going global. And so my study abroad adventures, if this will work, started last January in 2017 when I headed to Maastricht in the Netherlands. And so I packed my suitcase and I moved to this 120,000 person town 10 minutes from Belgium and like a 20-minute bus ride to Germany. And I loved it so much because I met the best people and I loved my classes. And so I found myself emailing Jason, our study abroad advisor, a couple months later, and I'm like, hey, can I go again? Like, is it possible? Like, would UF let me? And to my surprise, he was like, yeah, but the deadline's coming up. You only have a couple days to decide where you want to go. And so I always had this weird fascination with Scandinavia. It's just like always been a thing for me. And so I decided that I wanted to go to Denmark. And so I moved straight from the Netherlands to Denmark. And so after 8 months in the Netherlands, I spent about 4 or 5 months in Denmark. And then I moved back to the US for the spring semester. And then surely enough, I find myself in Jason's office for a third time. And I'm like, hey, is it okay if I go again? He's like, literally last time, like I'm cutting you off after this, like absolutely not after this. But so this summer I went to Oslo at our partner school there, and it was an amazing experience. And so when I was asked to give this speech today, I was thinking, how am I possibly going to condense over like half of my undergrad and over a year and a half of my life into a 10-minute speech? And so I kind of came up with 3 golden rules. And this is one of the golden rules other people have talked about today. But for me, rule number 1 for sure is also embrace unexpected. Not even to just like expect it. You got to embrace it and you got to roll with it. Because my first day of exchange, I literally found myself in the hospital. And not because I was sick or not that I was hurt, it's because I literally lived in a hospital. It's like, I don't know why, but Maastricht's official student housing was in a hospital. So just to give you some perspective, we've got like this entrance here, and I go in and I'm like, am I in the right place? Like literally it's a hospital reception desk, and I'm just like, this can't be right. But I check the address and I'm like, okay, I'm no expert at Dutch, but I'm pretty sure this is the right place. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm living here. And they're like, oh yeah, so you're living in the old cardio wing upstairs. And I'm like, oh great. So I'm living in a hall with 26 people sharing these like moldy showers, but they're from 6 continents. So I'm like, all right, that's cool, whatever. Like, I'll deal with it. And so then the next day I was invited to a dinner where if you see that little sign over there, that's where the dinner was. So I go from my little cardio wing here and I go downstairs and I see this like mob of priests coming in. And I'm like, literally there's a party upstairs and there's people dying downstairs and then there's a morgue in the basement, but like, whatever. Like, I'll roll with it. Like, it's fine. Jason told me to expect the unexpected, and I know this is kind of it. So I'm like, okay, just go with it. So a month goes by, and I'm getting used to the priests and the weirdos and the like weird sicknesses I see on a daily basis. And I get back from Ireland, and I'm gone for about a week. And I don't know why, but I walk into the kitchen, and my Australian friend is there, and I see this little like fuzzy thing, like kind of little like a squeaky squeak and a little like around the kitchen floor, and I'm like, oh no. He's like, oh yeah, the mouse, like it's been here all week, like we've got this huge mouse infestation. And I'm like, oh no, like absolutely not. I am not dealing, I can deal with the priests, I can deal with the moldy showers, like I don't know if I can deal with the mice, because I don't know if you know anything about me, I really hate germs. I will literally always have Purell on me, like I don't know how much more I can handle. But surely enough, the mouse became, like the mouse infestation, like they were everywhere, tiny, tiny baby mice, but they became like the common bond and the common enemy for my 26 people in my hall. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you have a common thing to unite against, it's like, it's amazing. So that is my best icebreaker, is to catch the mice. And so it became a tradition in C410 hallway that every time there was a mouse, you would open the door and scream, mouse, and the Australians and the Canadian guys would come running down the hall with a trash can and a broom and basically play hockey with the mice until we caught it and released it outside. So that became like our bonding activity. I mean, worked much better than taco night, which we tried before and failed when we tried to bond. So yeah, that was my housing for 8 months. But silver lining, my friend lived right next to the STD clinic and I didn't. So, you know, you win some, you lose some. Okay, so rule 2 is you gotta have a little faith in yourself, and you gotta have a little faith in the whole process. It will all work out. There will be moments where you're like, this is ridiculous, like I'm never gonna get through this. The mice being one of them. Like literally I have PTSD. I saw a little like fake mouse in Jason's office yesterday, and I'm like, oh no, they're just like following me. It's like literally a Halloween decoration, but I was just traumatized. But like everything will work out just fine, and you know, there's literally silver linings everywhere. I got pneumonia when I was there. I literally just had to walk downstairs. I got treated and I walked back up, and so you know, like everything will work out great. And so yeah, you just gotta like have fun with it, go with it, yeah. And so rule 3 is that everyone has a story to tell and that you have more in common than you think. And so my friends, when I was gone, ranged from a whole bunch of different people. They were all from different continents. We were all exchange students, and I had like the best time. I mean, we didn't necessarily have a lot in common, but when you're dealing with these common experiences, it can really bond you quickly. And I got to visit a lot of them in different countries, and they came and visited me on my different exchanges. One of them was here last month visiting me in Gainesville, and so it's really like worth the journey. Oh yeah, and that just shows you how short I am, because all my Swiss friends' parents and her whole family were 6'4" and above, and so they had to bend down to take that selfie in the top left corner, but that's okay. You make friends along the way, and they take selfies with you. And so, that being said, I had like some normal friends that I met along the way, like the ones in the other picture, and then you meet a lot of kind of like people that you would never expect to meet or befriend along the way too. So my rule going on to that is that you should really keep an open mind about those people. And so some of those people include Peter. Peter was my Dutch security guard in my building, then the hospital. He was the MVP mouse catcher, so very helpful, good person to befriend. He also looked exactly like Filch from Harry Potter in that picture. And Peter was great because he'd be like, oh, are you bored? We could do wheelchair races downstairs. Like, he was a great guy. Just, I mean, you wouldn't find him the most approachable, but he ended up being my first Dutch friend. So like, you can't get better than that. And so another person I met was this Korean like supermodel. I guess that she's the one on the right. So I guess she won Korea's Next Top Model, and my friend freaked out because we were in Copenhagen and she saw her and she's like, oh my God, she's like in all these K-dramas and whatever. I literally have no idea what any of that is, but we ended up spending like the whole day with her, and it was so fun, and she like messages me on Instagram, and I'm like, oh my God, she has like 1 million followers and she follows me. So now I feel like so much pressure every time I post something, but yeah, she's great. She's fantastic. Another weird person I met, but great person, is Dolores Yaklek, and she was my, yes, Cindy loves Dolores Yaklek. So Dolores Yaklek was my Airbnb host in Croatia. Very funny woman. A little bit, I call her my fairy mob mother because of complicated reasons, but she basically tells me the life and stories of herself every day when I was in Croatia, and wouldn't let me get in and out of the Airbnb without talking to her. So I ended up spending every day with her, and she showed me around the island, and she showed me her olive trees that hold the secrets of Croatia, etc. And she sends me olive oil to Gainesville sometimes. We still FaceTime and stuff. Another person I would have never met if I didn't have an open mind is Andreas Gram-Drachman, who was the youngest candidate for mayor in Aarhus, which is like the second biggest city in Denmark, where I studied. And he actually had this campaign where he was "Be Safe Choice" was his slogan. So he sent out thousands of condoms with his face on it to our mailboxes. So naturally he became like a legend amongst exchange students, because we were like, that is so weird. Like, who sends out, like, that was his whole campaign and his advertising. But sure enough, we befriend him when we start campaigning with him. So you can see me like walking in the streets of Aarhus there, campaigning with him. And he invited us to be on his like official marketing team for 2021, my friends and I. So we're literally going back for his campaign in a couple of years. So I'm super excited about that. Big Andreas fan. Oh, and last but not least, so this guy, Chris Moon, basically sums up my whole exchange experience. I was coming home from Denmark my very, very last day of exchange. Like, literally was so sad, like basic white girl moment. Oh, I'm leaving Europe. Like, I don't want to go home. It was just so depressing. And so then I totally forgot that I had like a layover in London that night. And so I was trying to get to my hotel, but I didn't tell my credit cards or anything that I was going to be traveling out of Europe now that Brexit happened. Anyway, whatever. And so then basically my card was blocked. I didn't have the correct charger because they have a different outlet over there, and then so my phone wasn't working. And so I go on the bus and I'm trying to get to my hotel, and I literally give the bus driver, I'm like, I have euros, I have dollars, I have Swedish krona, I have Danish krona, like, can I give you any other money except pounds? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I can't accept it. This guy walks up and he pays for my bus ticket to get to the hotel, and I was like so grateful. And I start talking to him, and it ends up that we're staying at the same hotel because it was an airport hotel. And so we get off and we start talking at the hotel, and he was like, oh, like, let's go sit in the lounge. And so he starts like moving his suitcase, and he drops it, and he's like, oh, you have to excuse me, I'm a little short-handed. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't know why he thought it was so funny. And so then we sat down, and then he was like, oh, he hands me his left hand. He's like, oh, I'm Chris Moon. And I guess I made a face because I've just never shook someone's like left hand, and it felt super awkward. And then he's like, oh, did you not realize? And he like pulls down his sleeve and literally has, like, he's Captain Hook in the flesh, like literally has this hook as a hand. And I was just kind of like, that's casual. Anything else you want to tell me? I literally said that because I'm so awkward. And then he pulls up his pant leg and he's like, oh yeah, my foot was also blown off in a landmine. And I'm like, oh. So I guess Chris Moon started his study abroad adventure in Mozambique when he was taking landmines out of the ground to like save people. And there was literally one left that they were trying to find, and he steps on it. So that's not great. And his arm and his leg were blown off. But then, so he basically barely survives Mozambique, but decides to make this charity to remove landmines across the world. So he goes to Cambodia, and while he's in Cambodia, he gets caught by the Khmer Rouge and held captive. And he's one of the only people that has ever escaped their like release. So he was able to escape while he was there. And so then after all of that, he became a motivational speaker for Parliament, and that is why he was in the UK when I was there. So I met this motivational speaker on my way home when I was all sad. I was like, who else does this really happen to? I mean, all the weird stuff just happens to me. But yeah, he was really one of the coolest guys, and his main takeaway was that, you know, you should really not let fear control anything. Because he's like, what's the worst that can happen? And I was like, you die? And he was like, no, like literally that's not the worst, because you don't deal with any of the pain or the issues that life throws in your way. He was like, literally the worst thing that happened kind of happened to me. I mean, half of my body was blown off of me in Mozambique, but I'm still here, and my life is amazing because of it. He runs triathlons now, like he's a really big athlete now, and he speaks for Parliament and everything, and he started his own charity foundation, has saved thousands of lives, saved me on the bus, so I'm grateful. And so yeah, he really kind of epitomized my whole experience, and kind of shows that every single day of exchange, even on your last day, you're gonna like meet people and learn a lot. And so my closing line is that traveling 10,000 miles is like reading 10,000 books. And I would argue that like every book, the chapters in it are like the people that you meet along the way. And it could be a really weird chapter, but in the end, that's like kind of how it forms you as a person and how you learn. So thank you.